masking and why it's exhausting. So if you're having to constantly think about your behaviour, how it affects other people, if something that you do gets unwanted attention, that can be where your energy just goes from here to something happens that wasn't expected, you didn't have a plan B, you have met somebody that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with and you're having to sort of think on your feet. What do I do now? Is what I'm saying now, is it going to be sounding rude? Oh, that facial expression, what was that? Is that something that I need to be aware of? Oh. And you're just thinking about that, like micro thought processes that are happening all the time. But your mask is like, oh, I'm fine, I'm coping really well, but underneath you're like a swan. So that's really what masking is like for me anyway. It's hard work, it's exhausting. I can just go to the post office and the communication that happens there, other people and their behaviours impacting on my experience at that time. Maybe they're asking me a question and I wasn't prepared for that, what's my response? Somebody's asking me something and I've got no script for that. I'm gonna have to think of something on the spot. It's really stressful because if you don't answer in the way that is socially acceptable, so PMT, socially acceptable, then it can create a sense of a hostile environment, which then makes my anxiety just spike. So imagine having to do that every day, which is why I like to stay at home. I'm sure a lot of people like to stay home, and I'm sure possibly the PMT who went through the COVID where we had to stay at home, we weren't allowed out for a long period, that was really difficult for them. So they experienced what autistic people experience, where we have to, or we're expected to go out and socialise, and if we don't then we're criticised. Whereas the PMT were told, oh, you can't go out and socialise, but they were wanting to go out and socialise. They needed that socialise, and their mental health was affected. And then suddenly mental health services were like, oh, we'll help you. But autistic people, no, sorry, no, just too different.